Hi everyone, welcome back. We're at 5 minutes and 32 seconds out of 11 minutes. We better get through this now because I do not want to waste any time. I don't want to make 3 parts. That would just be a long time.
Whew. So where am I going with all of this?
Yeah, where are we
If
going?
the universe began to exist, that means something created it. It's as simple as that. I believe in the beginning.
It was a big bang. Whether you say God used it or it was just a big bang, even though it was more or less a big expansion, it doesn't matter. It was a big bang.
God created the heavens and the earth. Now you're going to ask me, so where did God come from?
Oh my gosh. Who asked that anymore? We know God's eternal. He's always existed. You made an 11-minute video on it. Actually, it was 8 minutes and 14 seconds. It's right over here. Who created God? We get the point. You don't have to repeat other videos. Holy crap.
Created God. Now, I already explained in this video that God is eternal. That means he always existed.
Yes,
so you might ask,
well,
maybe the universe is always eternal. Well, scientists today say that the universe began to exist.
We know. It's not eternal. It started with a big bang.
This logic, which I've shown in this video, says that the universe began to exist, and really it just comes down to this. I believe in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth, and you believe in the beginning dirt.
Dirt? Dirt? What are you kidding me? Seal? Okay, I gotta do a little teaching lesson here. Let me show my little cursor. Just look close so you can see it here. It's flying around. Okay, look at this. 20 billion years ago. 13.7 billion years ago. You're wrong. Okay? How do you get dirt? Dirt? Are you kidding me? You know nothing about evolution, do you, Sean? Besides, that would have nothing to do with evolution because evolution doesn't start until life exists. Okay? You're dealing with abiogenesis, and how did it come from dirt? What, are you kidding me? It started actually in the water. How could there be dirt? Are you kidding me? Holy crap.
Created the heavens and the earth. So don't tell me that mine is religious and yours is scientific.
See, he repeats everything he said in the last series he made, saying evolution. And yes, yours is religious, and mine is scientific. At least the evolutionary theory, even though I do believe in God anyways.
In fact, I'd go ahead and say both of our views are religious in some nature, because...
No, not at all. Yours is.
Science is defined by things we can test, repeat, and observe.
And we do.
And neither of us can test, repeat, or observe the beginning of the universe. However, we can employ logic, and logic says that the universe began to exist, and this also proves that a transcendent cause, something not made of matter, time, and space, did create the universe, and that is the very nature of God, to be immaterial, omnipresent, and eternal. So I said earlier that I believe the universe, earth, and mankind are only approximately 6,000 years old, according to the biblical view of history, so I just wanted to show you why I believe that. The earth is not millions of years old or billions of years old, and humankind is certainly not 35 million years old, like the evolutionists say. So what evidence do I have of that? Well, I have many secular textbooks that say the oldest human civilization, or the oldest remnants of human civilization, only go back about 5,000 years, which is exactly what we'd expect. There's no...
Humans? I'm not sure if that's correct. Have you ever seen the movie 10,000 BC? Those were humans, so I'm not sure about that.
Archaeological finds that date back before that.
Now you're going to say that's a fiction thing, but it's actually kind of based on fact. There were probably humans around 10,000 years ago, and before that, so...
Concerning human civilization. So that should hint you in a rather strong direction. If we've been here for millions of years, then why on earth do we not find any remnant human civilizations earlier than about 5,000 years?
I'm gonna go type this in on Google, so I'm gonna have to stop my video, because I'm gonna try to disprove him. Okay, here's my little arrow again, so you check this out. Okay, look. Until about 10,000 years ago, most humans lived as hunter-gatherers, which means there were humans before 10,000 years ago, about 14,500 years ago. 10,000 years ago plus, they were, minus to now, were hunter-gatherers. So, yeah. So, be quiet, Sean. Okay, let's get started again.
Something to think about. I just wanted to quickly look at some human population growth charts. As early as the 1930s, there was only approximately 2 billion people on the planet, and that number has tripled to here in the year 2008. So if we just go and take this in reverse, we are left with something that looks identical to the biblical view of history, that the human population bottlenecked some 4,400 years ago, when the Bible says God flooded the world and reduced the human population to only about 8 people. And then before then, the world could have been populated up to as far as 1 to 2 billion, and the creation took place about 6,000 years ago. If mankind had been here longer, we should find some evidence of human civilization prior
Look
to
it
that,
up instead of just spouting lies.
Now, some people will say that they find Aztec remains that are about 7,000 years old, and it's up to them to be able to prove that they can prove that they're actually that old, because, once again, science is defined by things we can test, repeat, and observe, and unfortunately the past is buried in the past, and we don't have a time machine, so the past is untestable, unrepeatable, and unobservable. So I will stick to the biblical view of history, especially...
The past is unobservable? Okay, so everything in history is gone. Right now, this is it. We were created 1 second ago.
Given the fact that it shouldn't just be 7,000 years. If we've been here for 35 million years, like the evolutionists, 35 million... Can you even picture that? We're not even talking 100,000 or 200,000. 35 million years of human history, and yet we only have a few thousand years of provable human civilization. So,
bull crap.
Ridiculous. The biblical view of history fits the evidence 100% more, and that's amazing. So the only questions left on the people's mind who've watched this video is dinosaurs and the flood. Where do dinosaurs fit in, and what evidence do I have of the flood? So let's talk about dinosaurs really quickly, and we can probably talk about that again in a later video, and we'll talk about evidence of the flood also in a later video, but we can just start talking about it now. The Bible mentions dinosaurs many, many, many times, and that would be impossible if dinosaurs went extinct.
You know, it's not like the Bible says this is a dinosaur, you know? I mean, it's kind of... They could all be animals that aren't dinosaurs, okay? So it's about your point of view to our point of view, to the evolutionist point of view. They don't have to be dinosaurs. They may sound like a dinosaur.
Before mankind was here, I believe dinosaurs lived with man, as the Bible says, and that's pretty much it. And they largely went extinct during the worldwide flood. There's other reasons that they went extinct as well. As you're aware, things in the past used to be a lot bigger, and the Bible says that people used to live a lot longer. Let's look at a quick chart. The Bible says that Adam, the first man, lived to be over 800 years old, and that after the flood, human lifespan was decreased to about 120 years old. So the conditions prior to the flood were radically different, and this makes sense on account of a few things. We find buried in amber, if you've ever seen Jurassic Park, the little air bubbles in the amber and the mosquitoes, the air pressure and the oxygen levels was double in the past, which is why we find animals that were enormous in the past. We found an enormous centipede, we find enormous insects and animals of all kinds. So if there was an increased amount of air pressure...
You know, just because we find some things that are a little bit larger, does that prove that everything was giant? This thing was the size of larger than a human. I highly doubt that.
And oxygen on the planet, this would have increased lifespans and the size of animals. And as that canopy of water fell, which caused the worldwide flood, and it rained for 40 days and 40 nights, the oxygen levels decreased, and the dinosaurs relied on that oxygen environment, and they suffocated, which is why most of them died off. Not to mention the flood itself. How many animals did Noah take on the ark? And proof of the flood, next video. Stay tuned.
Oh, I can't wait. These are wonderful. Wonderful to refute. Alright, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for part 5 of my series and part 3 of his series. Thanks for watching, and have a nice day.